Listen, you may say that I am being very harsh here, but to be perfectly honest, Magna having this power is not a problem for me. I'm happy. It is what the reveal that he apparently only can do it once! That is the problem to me. And I probably should have warned I'm gonna scream. Too late. I even threw up my voice for that. Or I may have done some voice things. Yes, it's me, the angry anime fan, the despair reviewer. Although I mostly just review Eden Zero, I'm decided to review Black Clover. It turns out that 6 months ago, Magna get to sort of. Oh yeah, and by the way, this chapter is not finished. We had a holiday, and it's not finished. We're not even gonna get a chapter of this next week. Sloppy work, a manga artist. Granted, it's pretty difficult to be a manga, isn't it? So apparently 6 months ago, it was Magna who went to Sora, begged him to train because he knew that he couldn't do the mana method, and he couldn't bear to the fact that Lucky was gonna get ahead of him so much. But he also knew that Sora was a peasant just like him, but unlike Magna, he actually had a more creative way to use his power. And Sora says that sees a lot of similarities with his father in that scenario, and he says to Magna he doesn't have to bow. So he takes him to his secret base where he actually sees a lot of different drones. Turns out that Sora is a very rare, remarkably smart guy. Some has actually said that it's Gorsh who's the smartest captain, but I'm actually beginning to wonder maybe Sora is, because he actually does a lot of complexity things. As he tells Mana, is the fact that high nobles as well as the Heart Kingdom people uses mana method together in one spot to make use of the mana around them to fight. However, peasants like him and Mana do not have so much mana to begin with. Therefore, he has to do it very slowly. But the fact that he doesn't have very big mana can also be an advantage, because that means he has to do a small one and use that in a counter-like spell. Basically, like the sticker, so we can take the ton of time to build up complicated arrays in advance. Basically, more like stay ahead of your opponents, who is very strong, by placing something that can redirect it at all. We have to work with the mana and themselves. However, to do that, it takes studying and slow, boring dodge. So that is what Magna has been doing all this time, trying to learn the complexity of it all, even having some studying of it all through Sora. I guess it's one of the first time he has actually worked with it all. It's the fact that he even says that doing this is the biggest thing he has ever known. And eventually, even he unlocks something which Sora approves of. However, he says it will take a long time to do it. And so he does create it after half a year, because it was only him. However, as I said in the beginning, he also says, a one-time only spell that's mine alone. So after all that hype, it only works once. Why? Why do you keep giving... Sorry. Why do you keep giving heroes limits? What happened to villains? Why can't you give villains some limits, Tabata-san? Please, just let heroes be broken for once. Asta's devil form cannot use 5 hours. And the fact that the devil unit combination didn't work. The mana method didn't work. So why do the villains have to be broken, but the heroes cannot? It is not fair. It is bogus. Yes, this is amazing, but that won't matter. This is shonen. Magna may do some very awesome stuff now, and I'm not blaming him for that. In fact, I'm very happy for him about that. But it doesn't change that in shonen logic, he is not going to win. And that's going to piss me off even more. So much I'm probably not even going to review that chapter. I'm going to be that pissed off. So he says he links up them equally. And that is the secret flame magic. But he does say that the chain is their soul, meaning that if he yanks it out, if you yank it out or break it, you'll go insane. So you better be careful. Meaning that this is basically the chain of their lives. But so if Dante rips that out, is they saying that his soul will collapse or it will go insane? Granted, he's already insane, so I think he will do it. So so in that way he does his fight and fights strangely, and so Dante actually fights back, but he does not acknowledge his Magna as a superior thing. He still calls him a filthy thing, like saying like all the things. How dare you attack him? Even Magna points out that, hey, you said I could attack you as much you want. So he pulls out the magic, but since Magna has now shared their magic half and half, he actually can withstand the magic and fight Magna on equal thing. Dante. But Dante points out that as long as he regenerates his body, it doesn't matter how many times Magna will hit him, he will eventually overcome him. So, of course, Dante is being so arrogant in all these things of it all. But despite the fact that Sora says that even if you need to struggle and continue to fight, you kept the smoldering fire burning, kept fighting right until today. So it doesn't matter how tough the opponent is. Magna still fights very strong and even knocks Dante down. I do admit it is very satisfying to see that arrogant asshole being plummeted this way, because this is basically the biggest humiliation in his life. I mean, think about it. Someone he looked down on, someone who's not even supposed to have any chance of fighting with him, somehow found a way to not only become equal with him in power, but also knock him down and somehow surpasses him in fisticuffs, showing that unlike Dante, Magna is a lot more fulfilling with hand-to-hand combat. So, yeah, I mean, this is the perfect way to punish that arrogant asshole. But again, this is shown in logic. Despite all the efforts, Magna is not going to win. Because Dante, or at least Lucifero, is reserved for Asta. That is shonen logic. Granted, if Dante were to be defeated, that would be sweet, because again, it would be the ultimate humiliation of his life. A peasant, the one he didn't even acknowledge, gave him a beating of his life by taking his magic and doing all that again. But again, that is not shonen logic. So unfortunately, the fact that Magna cannot even do this again pisses me off. It almost seems to suggest that Magna has a death flag now. And we are not going to get a Black Clover chapter next thing, because apparently the rushing of this chapter, which was not finished, is a problem. So yeah, don't expect me to be happy about that. But you can give me your thoughts if you have any.